Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Black Ice with me, Alpha Pi Omega, in Soviet Union. So, two things right off the bat. First of all, for some reason, we have lost whatever we were researching in our army slot, which I believe was the armored train. For some reason, we are not currently researching it. I'm not sure why. There seems to be something wrong, but we still do have the research counted, so I'm not sure. Man, these things just freak me out when you get a bug like this. Not sure what's up with that. Second of all, I want to give a shout out to Aviac for his comment on the last episode, because he told me an interesting thing that I was not aware of, because again, I wasn't playing Soviet Union before. So I was just counting in my head throughout the day what we need to do to finish the second 5-year plan, and I was thinking, man, even if I didn't spend 2 months building factories in the wrong place, this is really hard. How the hell are we supposed to do this? Turns out, as Aviag mentioned, there is this focus that I ignored, a bit of Prepiski, which I was thinking, sure, Prepiska, that means basically a false document in Russian, and whatever that does, it's not important. Well, it turns out, according to Aviak, Prepiska will change the requirements of our second 5-year plan by basically falsifying documents and lessening the requirements. Basically, if you're a Soviet country and you cannot fulfill your plans, you cheat. That's how they always did it. But I was never expecting that I would be cheating even as playing Soviets in the actual game. I mean, whoever did this is amazing, because this is probably the most Soviet thing that I have ever seen. Anyway, it says, Gosman goals are not always achievable. Sometimes factory directors need to be creative with their reported figures. But careful. If Narokom Goskon learns about wrong reported figures, the price to pay will be high. Yeah, they're gonna shoot you. That's how they always did it, but sometimes they will promote you because, it's too much of a screw up to even investigate. So anyway, I haven't had this in the list of focuses, but once we finish Bookmia and get that extra research slot, I'm gonna get it and we're gonna see what it's gonna do, because even if we continue, this is very likely that we would probably not manage to get everything that we need. So maybe we will need a little bit of Prepiski to finish this. I'm so sorry, guys. This is all right. Well, poker face. This is the policy. That's the country you're playing. All right. Anyway, with that said, I think we can continue. I'm happy that we're exporting so much resources. We are also, that was mentioned. I'm not sure. I apologize who said that in the comments. I already replied to that one, so YouTube hid it from me. But someone was suggesting that we actually send spies to Finland. Yes, that is the plan. I originally sent the first 2 into Germany. Actually, I have 1 back home in case these guys get captured so that we can rescue them. But first 2 were sent to Germany because we want to see how they're doing and what the strength parity is. But yes, Finland is going to be our next goal, because we will be engaged in a conflict with Finland in 1939 in the Winter War. So yes, that is the plan. So we can unpause and have the game run. I actually wanted to check. Yes, of course, we finished more ships. Are you guys all located? Damn, they're all being built in Leningrad. I can't really complain about that. It makes sense, but what the hell? A lot of ships in Leningrad. So let's send them out to train. The 5th column. The persecution of enemies of the people, those who would reverse or subvert the revolution, has been ongoing policy since the party came to power. The interwar power struggles that followed have shifted our focus, and purging the party ranks themselves has been given more emphasis since Trotsky's exile. Stalin has made himself an icon, but at the cost of making many real enemies and innumerable imaginary ones. Having seen the worst of internal power struggles, the General Secretary is prone to act on the slightest suspicion. Being purged from the party means imprisonment or death. Dark times lie ahead for those who show disloyalty, or just a bit too much loyalty to seem credible. Extremely paranoid. And we're starting to get the Great Purge. Great. Well, that is amazing and very early. So we'll see how that's gonna go. I actually wanted to mention one more thing. And because I'm not an expert on the Soviet tanks, I'm slowly reading up on them. I already discussed the BT-7, which was the last cavalry tank that the Soviets were using, but it was a really, really good tank. It was capable of up to 70 kilometers per hour. It's one of the fastest tanks of its time. It was really good, but we are going to get additional variants, the BT-7. Oh, actually, we could unlock the BT-7 now. Alright, and then we have the BT-7M, which was the last variant that was being built. But I also wanted to mention that the T-26, and okay, we're getting additional variants as well, was also a really good light tank that was continuously upgraded all the way to 1940 when they stopped the production. There was, I don't know, thousands of these being built. I think, if I remember correctly, something like 12,000 altogether. So these tanks are pretty much they're really good. They're really good, and a lot that the Soviets have learned of the tank construction based on these designs, they then put into the T-34. So interesting read if you want to see a bit of a different doctrine than the German one. Pretty interesting tanks. But alright, considering we were discussing the T-26, I was really thinking that it might be in our best interest to upgrade the design early, because as we have seen a... Wait, how do I hide this? This way. As we have seen the T-26 mod for free, we could upgrade it a little bit by giving it the sloped armor and an additional machine gun. We get quite a bit of extra oomph to our stats for a very little conversion cost, and we could also add a construction company on this. I would probably use the plant No 37 just to have them do this. But I was thinking if there's something that we could do here that would boost them further. I mean, I don't have a slot though. We're working on this. This requires an entire new chassis. So the 6. I was thinking something like side skirts would be nice if we could get our hands on those, but improved tank design, oh, that would be really nice. Torsion bar suspension, no, there really isn't anything here that we would standard gearbox. All of these are way too far. So is it worth it? We got how many? 2,218 in reserve. We're making about 1.48 per week. So if we started upgrading, we would be upgrading about 4 per day. Am I calculating this correctly? 2.76 was, no, about 3 per day would be upgraded. So that is in about a year the reserve would be upgraded. I wonder if it isn't a better idea to just keep them as they are. But you know, the performance would be Swift attack 11. Breakthrough. Yeah, and if we get a little bit of an air attack, which is really important. the armor would go up and breakthrough also significantly. We cannot give any storage. There is a better cannon available, but this one doesn't give much of anything, and it jumps the conversion cost from 0.88 to 3.4, which, you know, immediately makes it not worth it. And if we try the welded armor, that would boost them as well. But the issue is, again, the conversion cost would be significantly higher than. So I think it would make sense to do just this little upgrade, and then later on we can put on. Yeah, we could design a complete, or we can, and that is a possibility, just upgrade this right now, make it welded, riveted, and just start building new tanks, completely new tanks, and call it the T26 mod 36, and have it as a completely different animal, because that is also a possibility. You know, it would be significantly better, but the question is that even worth it? Because either you're building better tanks, we need to make a decision, whatever the decision is. Do we change it? Do we not? Do we continue building the original ones? When was the other one that we would get? Mod 47 in a year, and we need a new chassis, so that is a completely different tank, basically. Alright, so that kind of answers my question, because we're just gonna start upgrading them with the original just small boost. So hold on, where was it? Yeah, I'm apologize, this is always freaking me out, the menu. So we're gonna make a T26 mod 36. We're gonna give it an AA machine gun, upgrade the sloped armor, and I don't think there's anything. We're gonna put the plant no 37 on it, which costs 5 experience points, which is bad, but on the other hand, in the long run, I think it's gonna be worth it. And I'll put it up over here for production, and I'm gonna start converting the things. Yeah, 2.27 per day, and it's just gonna get better. Okay, so we get 3,120 of those babies to go through, and when we get the additional 2 experience points, I'm gonna start building the new BT7s, because that is an upgrade. Alright. Sorry for, you know, derailing basically the entire episode on this, but we need to have, because, you know, we're gonna be using these tanks. The light tanks, I plan to get them as the main, what are they called? As the main scout. I think it's here on the recon. You should come in. Yeah, we will need the 1940 headquarters upgrade, and that is going to unlock. Yes, Armored Recon Company, so light tank recon. And then it will be super important for us, because when we switch from the motorized and the cavalry recon to these, we will need to have everything done. There was another thing that I was discussing in the comments about the cavalry divisions. Where is it? Here. Because people were mentioned, or people, it was mentioned in the discussion that we would need to also motorize the artillery here. And no, we don't. Because if I motorize the engineers, the speed goes up to 5.4 kilometers. Is the artillery actually... Let me see if there's a boost if we motorize these as well. No. So if the artillery can be pulled by Cav to the max speed available. So that's what I thought originally. I completely missed that the artillery wasn't motorized, but because they're being pulled by I think that's their max speed, to be quite honest. I think that's their max speed. Let me just remove them completely. No, it's 5.4. Yeah, it's based on the CAF, because the original artillery is being pulled by horses as well. Interesting. That's a bit of a different... It changes with the mod. In each mod it's a little bit different, but for Black Ice I guess we don't need to motorize the artillery in this case. Still though, I would like to add at least one more medium artillery on them, because that makes them significantly strong. Actually, we could add 2. Alright, so in that case this one would probably be a regular artillery here. So that we have... oh damn, that actually makes them way stronger. Interesting, because I was confused in the comments, and I think was it Aviac who was discussing it with me as well, or Wolfau? Someone was commenting this and I was replying on the phone today, so happy to clear that up. 1946 Tour de France. The 1946 Tour de France was the 30th edition of Tour de France, taking place from the 7th of July to 2nd of August. Composing of 21 stages with a total length of 4,442 kilometers, or 2,760 miles. The race was won by Belgian cyclist Sylvain Maes, coming in at 142 hours, while the second place French cyclist Antoine Magne came in at 165 hours. The Italian team was not allowed to participate because of the war with Ethiopia. Alright, so any decision that we can take, because we're almost at 75 political power. Yes, our stability is just falling through. Honduras withdraws from the League of Nations, and Austria and Germany signs an agreement. So, let me just... we got a ton of tractors. This is... okay, this is a little bit confusing. Why the lower stability, but I'll take it anyway, because we do have the possibility. I would like to distribute the tractors to the peasants when we have the option, and because we're working on excavation, we'll also start investing in this. Now, additional consumer goods factories. I think we're gonna improve worker conditions. Oh, okay, so we cannot get that because we already have the Great Purge. Great. So, promises of peace no longer work either. Can we focus on people's problems? No, we can't. Alright, so the only way we can do this is get... decrease unemployment. Or additional consumer... okay, so I could get both of these at the same time for 6 consumer goods. But it would give me 1.8 stability per week, which means 0.7 stability positive, and I could combine it with national celebration. Because our stability is, you know, just falling off a cliff at this point. So there really isn't much of a choice for us, is there? I'll get the increased operative soon. Damn, this is really hard choices. Keeping the country running is gonna be much harder than I expected. Honduras withdraws from the League of Nations. The League now has to cope with the next severe blow. After Guatemala on the 27th of May and Nicaragua on the 27th of June, Honduras now also declared its withdrawal from the illustrious Circle of Nations on the 10th of July. Asked about the reason the Latin American state declared in unison that small nations have nothing good to expect from the League. More plausible seems to be the fact that although previously the concept of collective security remained abstract, with the Abyssinian War and the decision to apply sanctions against Italy, responsibilities for the members of the League of Nations suddenly became very real. For Latin American countries, such responsibilities meant jeopardizing their trade relations in times of economic crisis and their traditional friendship with the Alpine country. It will be interesting to see how countries in similar positions like Chile or Venezuela will react to this development, and Austria and Germany signs an agreement. Austria and Germany signed an agreement that established Austria's full sovereignty and recognized her as a German state. The pact, which was seen as a significant step towards the reunification of Germany, also obliged Austria to pursue policies that were in line with Germany's interests. In return, Germany promised to respect Austria's independence and sovereignty. The agreement, which was signed by Austrian Chancellor Kurt Schuschnigg and German Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop, included a provision that stated that each government would regard the internal political conditions of the other as a domestic concern and would not exert any direct or indirect influence on it. The agreement was hailed by both countries as a valuable contribution to the peaceful development of Europe. Many countries, however, viewed the agreement with suspicion, seeing it as a possible prelude for German expansionism. The signing of the pact was met with protests from Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and other nations that feared the strengthening of Germany's position in Europe. Can you blame them? I mean, I can't. Alright, so we're just gonna kick into high gear, go with national first additional consumer goods factories and decrease unemployment. Damn, I missed this one just... Oh, hey! Focus on people's problems. Nice! Alright, it came back. And let's decrease unemployment as well. And next we're gonna take the national celebration. Well, maybe we will. For now, this means that we have managed to shave off the worst problems of all. Okay, well, I mean, the 2% are actually lying on us heavily, but we'll manage. Cool, the weekly changes is now increasing. I have a feeling that no matter what we do, the collapse of stability is inevitable, but we'll see. We shall see. The Civil War. The Spanish Civil War. A civil war has erupted in Spain. Several generals seeking to overthrow the current government in Madrid have issued a pronunciamiento, and a large portion of the Spanish armed forces have answered their call to arms. This right-wing nationalist faction has occupied much of Spain, including the overseas territories. Loyalist forces and volunteers have assembled under the left-wing Republican government determined to resist the putsch to their last breath. The battle for Spain has begun, and we are going to help them. So this is liberal and you are fascist. Alright, so you are gonna receive... can I not send volunteer forces yet? Border clashes... Alright, we will probably get that option soon. Russian Air Force mission arrives in Prague. In a significant development, the Russian Air Force mission arrived in Prague today as part of the Czechoslovakian-Russian Treaty of Mutual Assistance. This treaty was signed in May last year, and today's arrival marks a concrete step towards its implementation. The mission comprised of a team of Russian Air Force experts who will work closely with the Czechoslovakian counterparts to develop the latter's Air Force capabilities. Yes, that was one of the weakest points of the Czechoslovakian defense, that and not finishing the border forts. But yes, Air Force was severely lacking. The Czechoslovakian-Russian Treaty of Mutual Assistance is seen as a countermeasure to the growing military ambitions of Nazi Germany and its allies. The treaty provides for mutual military support in case of any external aggression against either country. With the arrival of Russian Air Force mission, the cooperation between Czechoslovakia and Russia in the military sphere has taken a tangible form. The experts from both countries will work together to enhance the capabilities of the Czechoslovakian Air Force, which is a crucial component of the country's defense mechanism. I like the photo of the women. I doubt that that was a historical photo of that mission itself, but still interesting. I was not aware that such a mission existed. Alright, so stability is starting to improve. Working in Bohemia, and why can't I? What's the issue here? I cannot. This is bizarre. We would need a liberal party. Interesting, but I could still start a Lend-Lease and just dump all of the equipment that we have on them. I was expecting us to be able to historically get ourselves involved in this. But the game doesn't seem to give us any option to do that. Interesting. Okay, Volcamia is done. And we are now gonna get a bit of Pripisky. Let's see what that one will do for us. Now, with this new focus, I could do a construction polymers. Alright, it's actually a pretty good one. This one lowers the chance to get sick. Alright, let's get the construction polymers first, because that gives us a construction speed boost of 2%. Doesn't seem like much, but over the years it's gonna mount to a lot of things. Advances in the polymerization theories have led to the development of construction polymers that provide enhanced strength, durability, and innovative solutions for design and constructive applications. Alright, we're gonna soon be available. What did I spend 2,000 tractors on? I think maybe this one cost that or something. Or decreasing unemployment maybe. Empire Exhibition, the British Commonwealth of Nations. The Empire Exhibition in Johannesburg concluded today after 4 months of festivities, including 500 exhibitors from 18 different Commonwealth nations and nearly 2 million visitors. The exhibition was the first to be held in the newly formed Union of South Africa. The event promoted the sale and import of imperial goods and services across the world. Recently constructed contemporary buildings and electric infrastructure showcased the outstanding features of modern South Africa. The finish line of the Schlesinger African Air Race was also observed in conjunction with the exhibition. The race, which only included imperial pilots and machines, showcased the ever-increasingly strong potential of aviation over long distances with a route of 6,150 miles. There is an atmosphere of prosperity about Johannesburg at present. You can sense it as you walk the streets of the Golden City. The city is on the crest of a prosperity wave. You can discern it in the high horsepower cars that travel the roads. You can see it in the well-fitted restaurants and places of amusement. But most of all, it is revealed in the intense building activity which is proceeding in all the parts of the city, wrote John McQueen in African Affairs. How far have they fallen? Alright, so we finished the basic machine tools, and now we have two options. Either going quality control and fluorescent lighting, or concentrated. No, we're gonna go with dispersed industry. So that's a 10% output boost in 217 days. Oh, this is a 4%. But in this case, 4% out of 36 is actually, well, it's about, it is the same. It is actually the same, roughly. And this is going to give us extra factories in state. So let's go with dispersed industry. By spreading out our industries, we can ensure that it becomes difficult for the enemy to target them in times of war. Mutually exclusive of concentrated industry. Alright. And once you finish excavation, you're gonna go with, well, with that as well. Gaining a tiny amount of arm experience. Looking at that face is painful, I'll be honest. Alright, I'm very close to getting the ability to get a next operative soon. So what did we finish? Civilian? Okay, so let's finish the civilian department. And then can I Can I queue army? Ah, okay, I can do it this way. Awesome. So it's gonna run automatically. Now, how much do we know now about Germany? We have 36 and 29 here, which is start giving us a significant amount of information. Yeah, it's getting much better. 18 from Intel network, 11.2%. We still know nothing about the exact numbers, but the Empire of Great Japan threatens our borders. Yay, there's gonna be a fight. Alright, but where? I should have read where. Damn it. I should have read where. Focusing on people's problems. Will we be able? No. No, we can't. Okay, so here we get the possibilities to help them, but I still cannot send them direct help. No. Alright. So what can we do for them and what the effect would be? So economic support for the Republicans. You would get weaker war support and 10 steel. And we get 10 political power. Industrial support for the Republicans. Oh, they would get a military factory and volunteers. We get 2 army experience, lose 1,000 manpower. Alright, let's get that one, because we need to unlock our new tank, BT-7. So that should be an actual upgrade to the BT-7 early. Is it BT-7 chassis, BT-7 chassis? Yeah, and what's the difference? So defense 5.99, you got 7.94, breakthrough 13, you got breakthrough 18, soft attack 12.5 compared to 8.62, hard attack 14 compared to 10. Speed is also slightly higher, piercing is the same, so you're using the same cannon. Armor is also higher. Wow, that is a much better tank all around. And we cannot convert any. And let me just see, is there anything else that we could do with you? Got partial sloped. If I give you a little bit extra armor, that might work. You do not have the machine gun either. Wait, what? We do not have enough armor experience for that. Well, I guess what we're gonna do is we're just gonna give you the side rear cannons, because they're gonna be, yeah, they'll help. So let's build this one. And that's significantly better. Alright. So let's just continue until we get a bit of prepiski, and then we're gonna call the episode an end. Are we still bleeding out a little bit of our... Alright, so where are they attacking us? Here. And that one we might actually win. We have way more forces here. And they're attacking across a river. So in this case, all the cards are on our side. And I also enjoy the fact that we're gaining a ton of armor experience from these. Alright. Alright. I'm always confused. Yes, the Republicans are these guys, and they're getting way less support. Alright. So, Spanish Republic wants help. We can send divisions and equipment. Ah, nice. We can send them volunteers regardless of the ruling party. We can let them handle this or send equipment. We will send help. And a bit of Pripiski has been done, so let's see what this one does. Pripiska. Corruption increases. Okay. But political power cost trend influence. Alright, so we can do this every 42 days and it's gonna keep lowering the requirements. Alright, we'll do that. Cool. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode where we're probably gonna send volunteers to Spain. Because even if we lose them, they're gonna generate so much army experience for us that it is worth it.